Hello ladies and gentlemen, and potatoes of all shapes, colors, and sizes. My name is Teo, and today, and for probably several days to come, like several dozen days to come, I'm going to be bringing you Ever17, the Out of Infinity. Now, I'm going in blind here, so I know very little about this series. From the opening, I definitely got a 999 vibe. It's like sci-fi bullshit going on, and people trapped in a facility that is flooding, maybe. But past that, pretty much all I know about Ever17 is that the last arc is supposed to be the best by a huge margin. So I guess I have that to look forward to, and so do you all. Bookkeeping stuff. If you are watching this video after having watched one of my previous Let's Plays, and by one of my previous Let's Plays, I mean pretty much just Fata Morgana. That's the only Let's Play I've done before this. There is good news and bad news. The good news is that I am, for as long as I can keep it up, moving to a 5 days a week release schedule. So every weekday, Monday through Friday, noon PST, I'm going to be dropping a video. The bad news, which sort of goes hand in hand with that, is that the videos are probably going to be a good deal shorter than my Fata Morgana videos. Those videos were like 2 to 2.5 hours on average. These ones are probably going to be like 40 to 80 minutes. But that's about all I have for bookkeeping. I hope you're all as excited for this visual novel as I am. Without further ado, let's get to the, I don't know, water. I imagine there's a lot of water, based on the opening. He was in the middle of a blue world. Oh, we called it water. As far as the eye could see, a sheet of water reached into the distance. The May sun shimmered on its surface. Above, high above, stretched a clear blue sky. The fresh, new sky looked so glossy and vivid that it might spill down to earth at any moment. That was all that was reflected in his eyes. A straight line of the horizon stretched into the distance, dividing the sea from the heavens. So tranquil, he muttered. A solitary seagull traced a gentle arc in the sky as the wind carried it away. The wind, full of the smell of the ocean, blew by him gently. The din of people could be heard in the background. The merry sound of children's voices echoed brighter than the sunlight pouring down. So peaceful. It was like being inside a dream. It's May 1st. 10 miles from M Island, Komagahara Archipelago, Tokyo. Oh, Komagahara Archipelago, Tokyo. That's like one place name. The man-made island, Incel Null, is that the name of the island? That's a weird name. Rose above the waves of the water. It seemed like a place removed from reality. The word utopia might have sprung to mind to describe it. Actually, a slab of rock on the boat dock of this floating island were carved the following words. That's not how grammar works. Somebody done fucked up. Where is heaven? Above the sky and at your feet. Leaning out over the railing of the island, he gazed into the ocean depths. In the blue distance, he saw a massive metallic structure swaying gently. Utopia, huh? He mumbled and looked back casually. And there was a tanuki, or raccoon dog. His eyes met those of the animals. For a moment, they eyed each other in silence. Hello. To clear the air, he nodded his head. The animal turned away, ignoring him. Rude. Upon closer inspection, he noticed something biting the animal from behind. What? Wait, that's a person. I'm super confused. We're like 2 minutes in and I'm already confused. Good job, Ever17. You have succeeded in your role as a mystery. It was a young girl. She was shaped like a person. Looking closer revealed that there was something strange about her as well. Also, wait, if she's shaped like a person, and she's a young girl, so presumably she's person-sized, why is the tanuki like 3 times as large as her? Like, there's either a strange-ass case of perspective going on here, or that's like the biggest tanuki I've ever seen. Also, the perspective is kind of weird, right? Like, the protagonist seems to be looking up at the tanuki, which again, is either means the protagonist like lying on his chest, or, again, biggest bloody tanuki I've ever seen. Looking closer revealed that there was something strange about her as well. What? What's happening right now? I'm so confused. Can somebody explain this to me? I think I need an adult. Namely, a small tanuki attached to the girl's backside. See, that's about the size that I would expect a tanuki to be. Also, that doesn't look like a tanuki, that looks like a dog. In front of him, there was a big tanuki, being bitten by a girl, who was being bitten by a smaller tanuki. The scene was enough to make him lose his sense of reality. Yeah, me too. He rubbed his eyes, rubbed them some more, and opened his eyes again. Even after blinking several times, the bizarre scene refused to go away. Oh, here we can emulate this. We blinked several times. Hey! Would you do something about this kid? Oh, okay, the tanuki can talk. I'm even more confused now, whispered the big tanuki. But the words didn't reach his mind, because it was so busy trying to process the absurd scene. Grr, grr, grr. Grr, grr, grr. I must be dreaming, right? That was what he was really thinking. A dream. A dream that would not let him wake up. And whiteness. A cold, white reality stretching forever. He felt the difference in temperature on his skin. The shock of it finally forced him to open his eyes. Wait, what just happened? Did we, like, change perspective, or...? I'm super confused. He wondered how long he had been sitting. It couldn't have been long. Or is it like a flashback? He'd only been in the park an hour. He'd been sitting on the bench the whole time. Seems like a long time to sit on a bench. Eating the same ice cream. There's no way ice cream lasts you an hour. It's cold. Of course it was. It had melted into a muddy mess. I see, so he's not making much progress on eating the ice cream. The melted vanilla ice cream trickled onto his hand, spilling onto his lap. Unfortunate. Whoa, that's cold. The ice cream slowly soaked into the fabric of his pants. Finally, the coldness of it had spread completely, soaking into his skin. He'd been sitting there a while. He'd been sitting so long. Yeah, normally if you have, like, ice cream dripping on you and you've been sitting for, like, an hour, you would want to, like, get up and do something about that, right? Like, what's wrong with this kid? But the person he was waiting for never came. I see. There was no sign that she would. I wonder why she hasn't come. He didn't know. Why am I here? Felt like he was teetering on the verge of utter confusion. Oh well. He shook his head and sighed. It didn't seem like his pants would dry anytime soon. It's a tragedy. What's wrong? He sensed a slight movement, and a girl sat down next to him. Hello, orange-haired girl. I recognize you from the opening. She was sporting the theme park uniform. A white outfit with a bluish ribbon. She looked like a guide. Are you lost? A beaming, innocent smile appeared on her shining face. Did you get separated from your friends? Yeah. I've been waiting. Waiting? Well, I was waiting. You were waiting. Alright, we've established that there was some waiting going on. For me? No. He was flustered as her grinning face peered into his. I was told to wait here, so... I see. But it looks like they're not coming. She gave him a sideways glance. Listen, you've obviously been stood up and are tired of waiting. I know. Her face suddenly lit up and she clapped her hands together. Hey, you're alone, right? Huh? Well, you're bored, right? How about I give you a tour of Lemur? Lemur? That's not a real word. She tugged at his arm, like I assume that's like an abbreviation for the name of the place. Without waiting for his reply, she made him stand. But I'm waiting for someone. Waiting? For who? Who was it? Couldn't think of the name. So you're just waiting for, like, someone? And you've been there an hour, and also you weren't paying attention to your ice cream? Something makes me think that this kid is playing with, like, a few cards short of a deck. Well, I don't know who you're waiting for, but... if they haven't showed up yet, don't you think you've waited long enough? She said this happily, almost prancing around. What do you say? How about it? Alright. He nodded slightly. The girl's name tag glittered brightly against the white fabric of her uniform. Y-O-U? That was what it said. I'm you! What? I'm you. Yep. She nodded. My name's Yu. My last name is Tanaka. Yu. My real name is much longer, though. Okay, thank God she has an actual name. Because, like, Yu is, like, not an acceptable name. I don't accept it. If any of the people listening to this right now are actually named Yu in real life, I don't apologize. You should get your name changed. Longer. Long, like, endlessly long. But it's such a pain. Just call me Yu. Yeah, this is gonna get super distracting. Like, it says Yu on the nameplate, right? Like, or the name thing above the text. And so I'm like, oh yeah, it's me talking, but it isn't. It's this character named Yu. I can already tell this is gonna infuriate me for, like, until we learn her real name. And possibly past then if, like, it doesn't change the name on the text. Nice to meet you. Oh my god. Not like this. I need an adult. With that, she enthusiastically stuck out her hand. Nice to meet you. Oh my god, y'all think you're so funny, don't you? Y'all writers having a big ol' hearty laugh up there at Writer Town. Like, how can we troll Teo? That's it, we'll name a character you, and then we'll put you in a bunch of the sentences afterwards. It'll be hilarious! It's a little hilarious, I guess. Without thinking, he shook her hand. And before he realized it, he'd been sucked along into her rhythm. Uh-oh. Don't let the crazy chicks, suck you into their rhythm, dude. So, shall we go? They released hands, reluctantly. He looked again at his hand, which had moments before connected them. The vanilla ice cream that had spilled on it had completely melted away. Not sure what to make of that. Huh? He noticed that the two tanuki had formed a line and were proceeding forward. In front of them was a massive gate that was sealed shut. So I assume the, larger tanuki is, a person in a tanuki suit. Because otherwise, this series has taken a turn for the bizarre. And we're, 8 minutes in. The gate swung open soundlessly, and the big tanuki, little tanuki, and the girl went inside. Okay, so it's two different characters' perspectives. Probably. Finally my turn. He followed on their heels. This was Lemu's only entrance for visitors. Several park employees waited at the gate and handed over what looked like earphones to the visitors. It seemed like the earphones were to be used at some point up ahead. He wondered why. I don't know, interactive pour or something? Looking around skeptically, but obeying instructions, he stepped into the building. He surveyed the ceiling. There were no windows. From the polished round walls, it was clear that the room was dome-shaped. He looked around. Many of the visitors, who'd been waiting in line, headed into the room. Among them were friends, amorous couples, people with their families. The Tanuki family had, however, split up it seemed. The big Tanuki shoved its way through the crowd of people and continued through a door on the other side of the room. Was it like a mascot maybe for the park? That would be believable. The young girl stayed on the same side of the room as the little Tanuki. That doesn't explain why the young girl is biting its tail though. It seems kinda rude. I've got no clue what those Tanuki are all about, but I guess my friends aren't here either. He didn't see any familiar faces around. Figured maybe they had already taken the far elevator downstairs. Just 20 minutes earlier, the visitor room had reached capacity, and the friends he'd been waiting with had gone ahead, leaving him behind to go down with the next group. Interesting. I'm probably overthinking it, but I have been told that this is a mystery, so I'm probably supposed to start overthinking at some point, and now seems as good a time as any. It feels almost too straightforward for this just to be, for the two perspectives I'm getting right now to just be two different people at the same time. I feel like they're messing with me, and it's either the same person at different points in time, or two different people also at different points in time. I feel like there's some disconnect there, or the perspective is not what it appears to be at first glance. Of course, it's also possible that the perspective is what it appears to be first glance, and I'm making an arse out of myself right now, but, that's what we're here for, right? We're here for me to, spout nonsense that digs way too hard into things that should not be dug hard into. Oh well, I'm sure I'll find everyone down below soon enough. Finally, the gate to the entrance slipped shut quietly. The big Tanuki fiddled with something on the wall, and the room got a shade darker. Hello, everybody! A park employee emerged out of the darkness. He wondered where she had come from. She was wearing a flashy dress. Maybe she came from inside the Tanuki suit. The dim light shining on her made her seem like a character from some dream. They keep going back to this dream thing on this character's perspective. I wonder if that's relevant. And I think was there something related to dreams in the opening? I can't remember. I feel like there was. What? No reaction, folks? I'll try that again. Hello! Hello! It was the girl who, just a little while ago, had been attached to the rear of the large Tanuki. Oh, this is the chick from the opening whose quote was, what was it? It was if you close your eyes, I disappear, right? Okay, time for harebrained theories. She doesn't actually exist. I have nothing to back this theory up, but they've been going on about dreams, and the super literal interpretation of her slogan from the opening makes me think that there's something is fundamentally weird about her existence. Maybe she's from an alternate timeline or something, or an alternate dimension. Or maybe I'm just overthinking this way too hard. Oh, I found a girl with some spunk. What's your name? I'm Koko Yagami. This is my pet dog, Pee-Pee. Yeah, it's a dog, it's not a tanuki. I was right. Woof! So that isn't a tanuki, it's a dog. Oh my god, you're a dumbass. I thought they didn't let pets in here. He tilted his head doubtfully. So Coco, how many times have you been to Limu? Oh, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... This is my first time! Is that how counting works? Aren't you a funny girl? I get that a lot. I kinda like Coco. Other than the biting part. Biting part's a little obnoxious. Counting part's hilarious. You want me to do something even more funny? Does the thing that's even more funny involve biting people? What? My friend taught me a good joke the other day. Uh-oh. Should I be concerned? Ooh, or maybe some other time. No! That's even worse! Why not? Because I have to tell everyone something right now. Oh. Okay then. But it's really funny. That's too bad, huh, Pee-Pee? Woof. Ahem. Once again. On behalf of the Limu Marine Theme Park, I'd like to thank you very much for coming. I'm about to give you a brief explanation about the Limu Theme Park and tell you a few things to watch out for. Hey, who cares? Hurry up and let us inside already. I would love to take everyone inside, but I'm terribly sorry. Everyone actually will have to stay in this compression chamber for now. It will only take 17 minutes. So please just bear with me for that long. First, let me explain a bit about this room. It is called a compression chamber. So wait, they're going underwater? It makes sense given the opening. Like, there was like a wall that had water bursting through it, so presumably that's underwater. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that at least some % of the story takes place underwater. And I think the blurb on the back of the box said, "You're trapped in an underwater theme park." But, you know. That's not important right now. Well, let's just not think about that too hard. Compression chamber, that's what we're on. Starting from now, the air pressure in here is going to rise to 6 atmospheres. 6 atmospheres? I don't know a lot about air pressure, but that sounds like a lot. Why do you think it is necessary to raise the air pressure? I'll explain the reason for that in a moment. But before that, let me tell you a few things you should be aware of. Oh, maybe 6 isn't that much, because, like, atmosphere is, like, lower pressure than surface level, probably. Right, because, like, the air gets super thin if you go mountain climbing. So 6 atmospheres is probably not as much as it sounds like, because, the surface is probably, like, 3 or 4 or 5. Probably 4 or 5, actually. If you can go to 6 atmospheres comfortably, it is probably pretty close to... Like, if you can go to 6 atmospheres without, like, popping, then ground level is probably close to 6. I can look this up after the game, but I'll totally forget. The only thing I remember to look up after I stop playing is, like, foreign words that I mispronounce. It's a curse I have. As the air pressure rises, you may start to feel a strange sensation in your ears. Like when you're descending a mountain or in an airplane. It's because the increased air pressure is pressing on your eardrums. So if you think your ears feel a bit strange, hit your nose with your fingers, close your mouth tight, and try to pop your ears. If that doesn't get your ears back to normal, or if you don't feel well, please raise your hand and let me know. In the event that happens, we will immediately stop increasing the air pressure. By the way, are there any people here that don't know how to pop their ears? Is everything clear then? Alright then, we'll initiate the rise in pressure. As I said before, the time required to increase the pressure is 17 minutes. During that time, I will explain to everyone about the structure of Limu. Ah, the Exposition Fairy. Hello, Exposition Fairy. As you know, Limu is floating in the ocean, at a depth of between 51 and 103 feet. Now, if you look at this chart, you'll see that the structure is divided into 4 layers. Yeah, I don't know enough about diving to know if, like, 51 to 103 is impressive. I assume they would have told me if it was, like, impressive. But it's probably not unimpressive. I don't know. Again, thinking too hard. From the top, these are called Insel Null. Oh, okay, so that's the floating island part. Erst Boden, Zweitstock, and Dreitstock. Okay, again, this is what, German? Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce German. You will, forgive me for my terrible pronunciation. Also, why isn't the floating island on the diagram here? There's, like, Erst Boden is the top one, Zweitstock is the second one, Dreitstock is the bottom one, but, like, where's... Isel Null, whatever it's called? Something Null? Like, where's that on the diagram? I'm super confused. In terms of a normal building, you might think of it as a structure with a ground floor extending down to a 3-story basement. Insel Null, here, is a floating island. I guess they're only displaying the underwater parts on the diagram? Okay. It is an immense man-made island floating in the ocean. In German, Insel means island and null means zero. In other words, this is floor 0, or the ground floor. Next is from Erst to Dreit. Just then. Hey, you! Hey, I'm talking to you! As he was listening to the explanation, someone pulled on him from behind. He turned to look around. It was the girl who had just been talking with the park staff. What was her name again? It was, Coco Yagami, right? Hey, don't you want to know about my joke? Absolutely, little girl. Tell me all about your joke. Oh, that's right. Her name was Coco. And that animal she's holding is Pepe, or Popo or something. Yes, it's Pepe. That is the dankest dog you'll ever see. You want to know, don't you? Huh? What? The joke I was telling about. The joke I was just talking about. It's an Amma joke. What? An Amma joke? You haven't heard about them? They're real popular now, you know. I doubt you in the extreme, child. No, I haven't. What are you talking about? An Ame joke is an American joke. Get it? Ame joke. You got it, boss. Oh, really? Makes you want to hear it, right? Want me to tell you? Absolutely. Yeah, I guess I'll listen to it. Okay, here it goes. Like, I could have listened to the explanation, which is probably important for, like, you know, not having my body burst like a balloon, but the joke is definitely more important than the important safety instructions given by the tour guide, like real talk. Once there was this guy who was talking to the ghost of his dead grandfather, so he asked him a question. How long is a million years to a ghost? He wanted to know. And the ghost answered, "A million years is like a second to me." Next the man asked, "How much is $1 million to a ghost?" And the ghost answered, $1 million, it is but one small cent to me. And when he heard that, the man pretended to smile all nice and then said, "Well then, Gramps, how about giving me one of your cents then?" Laughing, the ghost replied, "Sure, right away. Oh, in a second. Yeah, okay. That's clever. But can I get you to wait just a second?" Well, pretty good joke, huh? By the way, before we entered this pressurization chamber, we handed out earphones to everyone, remember? I do. Yes, that's right, earphones that everyone is using right now. These are not your average earphones, they're voice alternators. Lemur is pumped full of helium gas, so without these on your ears, you'll sound like a duck. He removed his voice alternators to see what would happen. It's true, people really do sound like ducks. Then again, maybe they sound more like aliens than ducks. Maybe the ducks are the aliens! Ah, foreshadowing! The voices of the people around him jumped to a strange higher tone. Hey, say something. Like what? Your voice is hilarious. Huh? My voice? Coco hadn't been listening to the explanation. Can you tell me that joke one more time? Why? Come on, just do it. Once there was this guy who was talking to the ghost of his dead grandfather. So we asked him a question. How long is a million years to a ghost? He wanted to know. And the ghost answered. What? That's weird. You didn't even laugh at it. You didn't even laugh at all just a second ago. He put the voice alternators back in his ears and looked back at the staffer again. Oh, thank God. If I had to do with that voice anymore, I was gonna, like, gouge my tongue out or something. Save you all from myself. And that pretty much covers it. In approximately 1 minute, the door on this side of the room will open. On the other side of that door is an elevator, and at the bottom of it, a brilliant paradise awaits. We hope that you enjoy yourself to your heart's content here at the Marine Theme Park Lemur. So, shall we go? Just as he headed for the elevator. So, are you here by yourself? Who, me? No, I got separated from my friends. So you're lost? Not exactly, but something like that. I'll head down the elevator and take a look around. How about checking with that girl who was just talking? No, I suppose I could do that. Excuse me. Looking back, he saw that the employee had already disappeared. Back into the Tanuki suit. So you came to Lemur by yourself? Yep, that's right. Even so. After bending down to wipe away the white stain on his pants, you stood up. Wait, you as a guy? I don't believe you. Oh, his pants isn't the protagonist's pants? I'm super confused. You don't see that very often, a guy coming to a park like this alone. That was true. It was paradise, an amusement park. In that instant, he had almost forgotten even that. So why didn't you go into the park with your friends? Why arrange to meet inside Lemur? Huh? That's because... Now that she mentioned it, who had said to wait on that bench? Whose idea was it anyway? Oh well, whatever. I won't push you. I'm pretty sure that, like, this is going to be relevant to some, it's going to be relevant to some mystery in some capacity, is the fact that this nameless protagonist has some sort of memory issues. Who was it? But I suppose that, well, I mean, kind of been stood up, right? What? Stood up? Stood up. It took a moment for the meaning of the word to register. Wow, I hit the nail on the head, didn't I? Sorry. She shrugged silently, embarrassed. Oh, well, don't get depressed about it. He changed modes abruptly and let out a hearty laugh. She slapped him solidly on the back. I'll look out for you, alright? Alright. He nodded, a bit overwhelmed. So, I was stood up. I must have been dumped. Huh? Then again, he wasn't sure exactly what had happened. But... What? Aren't you working right now, you? You make a scary boss. No matter how many times he checked, she was definitely still wearing a lemur uniform. I didn't have anything to do anyway. It's perfect timing. Yeah. They got in an egg-like elevator together. Wait, egg-like elevator? That can't be efficient. Like, you want it to be like a rectangular prism, right? The egg slowly began to move. It felt like they were slowly floating up. Going up? She whispered mischievously. No, going up, she whispered mischievously. That's more like it. The elevator was terribly crowded, and everyone was packed in like sardines. Oh, it's a little hot, huh? I'll say. Her face was so close he almost bumped into it. Their bodies were flush against each other. She was soft and warm. He was surprised. All of a sudden, he felt embarrassed and started to squirm. Hey, kid. Hey, don't go touching places you shouldn't. She whispered into his ear, puffing out her cheeks. Crammed in the elevator, he couldn't even move an inch. It tickles, don't move so much. Don't have a lot of choice. I can't breathe. He couldn't move, but he couldn't bear standing still either. As he gasped for breath, he noticed her light perfume. Finally, the egg arrived at the top floor and his suffering was over. Phew. He let out a cry and bolted from the elevator. What's with you all of a sudden? Hey, wait! Kid! Kid! He sprinted away, leaving you far behind. It wasn't that he was trying to escape from her. He'd seen something. At the edge of his vision, he thought he'd seen someone. Up ahead, that someone was still visible. He chased after whoever it was, like a man possessed. I've seen that face before. I'm sure I've seen that face before. That was what his instincts were telling him. But where had he seen them? He tried to sort through his foggy memory. As he sifted, he kept running forward. Wait! He felt a desperate need to meet the person. But he had to hurry. Eventually, he ran out of breath. Holding his pounding chest, he looked up. Ah! There she was. Mixed amongst the other people was a girl, standing. He was sure that the person that he had been searching for was this girl. It was in the middle of the holidays, but for some reason she was wearing her school uniform. He wondered why she was here alone. Oh yeah, I've got to talk to her. She was by herself. She was all alone, just like him. What should I say? Where should I start? Let's see. He needed to calm down and focus. Huh? Why is it I have to talk to her? Why in the world? Who was she? Who was... she? She's... Ah! He was caught up in a wave of people. He got pushed into an elevator. He started to rise toward the surface. That's, inconvenient. 51 feet below sea level, the elevator stopped at basement floor 1. He got off the elevator as if he were being spit out. The floor was called Erstboden. He glanced around at his surroundings. She wasn't anywhere to be seen. He thought that they had both ridden the elevator together. But he had apparently lost sight of her in the crowd when he got off. I lost her. He hadn't even been able to say a word. He felt really depressed. Maybe... did she call out to me? The idea suddenly popped into his head. What is this feeling? His heart was still beating furiously. Is something the matter? A uniformed staff member, different than you, was talking to him. Are you looking for someone? She gave him a warm smile as she said this. Yes, I am. Feeling that he seemed a little desperate, he quickly blurted out an answer. I'm trying to find someone. I was supposed to meet up with them, but we must have missed each other. Who is it? What is their name? Their name... Hey, you there, wait! Is this you? Are we getting chased? Patter, patter, patter. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps came rushing at him. Huh? You mean me? Oh, nope, it's Orlando. Yes, that's right. Running feet braked sharply beside him. The guy was out of breath. Actually, I want to ask you something. Huh? Surprised, he slowly opened his mouth. Hey, you don't know, do you? Okay. Our two point-of-view characters have suddenly collided. There was nothing to do but see where the conversation went. Sorry to ask you like this out of the blue, but you don't know, do you? You haven't seen my friends around here, have you? One of them is about 5'1" and around 140 pounds. Kinda good-looking, with dorky sunglasses, and probably not the type girls would go for. That's, harsh. Another was wearing a suit, no tie, short hair, and has 3 pierces in his ear and 1 in his nose. He likes to knit. And there was the only girl in the group, who had a kind of simple color flower print on one piece with a frilly lace. You know, 3 people you might see anywhere. Did you see them? Nope. The young kid shook his head. I see. Well, sorry about stopping you like that. Waving slightly, he left. The youth continued down the corridor ahead. A girl came over to him and started talking to him enthusiastically. He thought he had seen her before. Yeah, this is the chick with the dog, and the terrible joke. Huh, I wonder if he knows that kid. But a troubled expression appeared on his face. Hey, you wanna hear a joke? Oh my god. Damn it, Coco. Stop. Just stop. Stop now. Huh? What? Who are you? So that's it. She's probably one of those kinds of people that would talk to anyone about anything anywhere, whether you were interested or not. He thought he would go down below. The elevator arrived soundlessly and swallowed the waiting patrons. Om nom nom. He went with them further into the depths of Limu. He walked around aimlessly. The attractions were all packed with visitors. Everyone had beaming smiles and yelled happily at all evidence of Limu's popularity. But still, wandering around a packed and lively amusement park all alone was a bit torturous. He couldn't help trudging around with heavy feet and slumped shoulders. He was on the verge of looking depressed, but held his expression in check. What am I gonna do? Walking around in this place blindly, he thought he might never run into his friends. The floor was a lot wider than he'd imagined. Oh, right, my cell phone. He took his PDA multi-purpose communication device out from his pocket. You're what, like 50, 70, 100 feet underwater? I would be deeply surprised if you got reception. He pushed a button. He didn't have any messages, no mail either, but the problem seemed to be, it was out of range. Yeah, no shit, Captain. At least that was what the display said. Are you serious? Yes, you're 50 feet underwater. I didn't think you could get out of range in this day and age. You totally can. Have you ever gone through, like, a tunnel? Then he recalled they'd said something about this being a giant tunnel in the middle of the ocean, where only select radio waves could reach. And that Limu used special electronic equipment, which wasn't very compatible with mobile equipment. More than anything, they didn't allow PDAs to work inside, so the facility would be completely separated from the world above as part of the attraction. That seems like a really irresponsible thing to do. Like, it's one thing, like, trying to create an immersive experience. It's another thing to, like, cut off contact with the outside world for the immersive experience. Like, Jesus, dude. That's gotta be, like... There have to be, like, OSHA regulations or something forbidding that, right? At least, that's what they told him at the entrance, but he hadn't listened to a word of it. Then how does he remember it? I'm super confused. Maybe I should get them to broadcast a message over the intercom? Thought it might be best just to ask a staff member. He decided to look for one. But there wasn't a uniformed person in sight. There weren't many people walking around the corridors either. He turned a corridor and entered a completely different corridor. He turned a corner and entered a completely different corridor. There, right in front of him, was the giant tanuki. It was the one he'd seen at the gate coming in. Okay, so based on the timing, this probably isn't the chick who was describing stuff in the pressure chamber. And probably not you either. So it's like a new character? Tanuki was operating a panel on the wall. I'll bet that's a Limu employee. Either that or it's a terrorist, which would also be fun. Thinking it perfect timing, he saddled up to the tanuki and called out, "Excuse me, I'm looking for someone. A friend. Could I get you to make an announcement over the intercom or something? The name is, Tanuki slowly turned around and looked at him. You know what would be super funny is if this actually was just a giant tanuki. Like, it would be kind of absurd, and probably wouldn't make much sense, but it would be super funny. Oh no, we've already established that it can talk, because it was trying to get Coco off its tail. But it didn't say anything. Hello? Hello? Tanuki turned away, avoiding him. He was being ignored. I wonder if it didn't hear me. The Tanuki was wearing a big stuffed suit, and it was a full head taller than him. There was a definite possibility that his words weren't even reaching the ears inside. Hello? Can you hear me in there? He asked the question nicely as he poked the Tanuki in the ribs. Hey, you've got a lot of extra flesh here, buddy. He continued talking as he pinched, pulled, and released the Tanuki's flank. He thought that, for a mascot suit, the Tanuki shot him a pretty realistic glare before it turned to walk away. Upset at that, he grabbed the Tanuki's shoulder. Hey, what kind of attitude is that? And when a visitor's in trouble. Whomp. Ugh. He'd been gut punched. The Tanuki had actually slugged him. Not even his parents had ever really spanked him before. It had been a totally cheap shot. The Tanuki had landed a solid uppercut. Hey! Tanuki! Yeah, I mean you! He went down to his knees and keeled over. Nearby visitors reacted. Is everything alright? Just then, a park employee appeared from the door. Are you having stomach pains? We're definitely ratting out the Tanuki. A Tanuki caught me with a body blow! Huh? The employee gave him a surprised look. I got sucker punched by that Tanuki! He pointed at the big Tanuki. Tanuki's expression didn't change. But it turned and started to run. Tanuki's silhouette pranced lightly away into the distance. And in an instant it had disappeared down the walkway. Classic hit and run. And you're in costume too, so like... There's no evidence. There's like no witnesses. Maybe. The perfect crime. That is, The staffer looked after the Tanuki as she spoke. That's not a Tanuki, that's a lemur. Okay, so Takeshi is like terrible at identifying Tanuki from other life forms. Like, you got the dog wrong, and now you also got the lemur wrong. In fairness, I was like buying his story on the lemur, just because like I don't interact with lemurs as often as I do with dogs. But still, that's pretty bad. You're 0 for 2 now, Captain. What? He rubbed his still aching stomach as he spoke. Yes, a lemur. You know, a fox-like monkey. His name is Myumyun. Limu had been named after the continent of Lemuria, a legendary land. According to the British zoologist Slater, the Lemurian continent preceded the existence of islands scattered throughout the Indian Ocean. Lemurs are scattered throughout Africa, the island of Madagascar, Asia, and Indonesia. While investigating the distribution of these fox monkeys, Slater came to believe a continent had existed in the Indian Ocean, adopting the British geologist Branford's hypothesis. He named his continent Lemuria. Moreover, the German zoologist, Haeckel, contended that this continent was the origin of mankind. So, like Pangea? Myumyun is one of Limu's mascots. But what happened? Are you ill, or... I mean, we explained it pretty clearly, right? Like, he punched us in the stomach, and then ran away. No, I'm fine now. Don't worry about me. It's over anyway. Oh, I see? The staffer disappeared. Well, that was, I'm feeling a lot of faith in the, operation of this here, amusement park. A lot of faith. Not very much faith. I see. That wasn't a Tanuki. That was Myumyun. He wasn't sure why Myumyun had hauled off and punched him, but he knew that wandering about it wouldn't help. Wondering about it wouldn't help. There we go. So he decided to forget about it. Yeah, that's what I do when I'm confused. He needed to be getting somewhere. I'll look around on my own a little more. He muttered this as he composed himself. He knew there should be several attractions at the other end of this corridor. His friends might have been looking for him as they waited in line. So which way should I go? His legs were so tired that he could barely move. This is the world's worst theme park. And that was exactly how he felt. Yeah, me too. This theme park feels deeply dubious. Like, there seems to be very little upside. Like, even before the whole you get trapped in it and you're gonna drown part. Oh well. Hit by a slight dizzy spell, he leaned against the wall. What in the world? He sighed. He was fully and utterly beat. The staffer that had just been talking to him had vanished somewhere. You wasn't around either. He'd lost sight of the other girl as well. And it's just not your day, kid. He was alone again. What did I come here for? He thought that maybe he should have waited where he was before, after all. Having lost his destination, he rode the elevator from the aquarium and returned to basement floor 2. Basement floor 2. It's white stock. Second floor? I screwed up. The rest area is down one more level. He felt like he had come a long way from the elevator room. He didn't know which path he should take to go down. Which way? Could you come here for a moment? A voice called to him from somewhere. From somewhere. From the shadows of the path, the owner of the voice was beckoning to him. The hand did not belong to a human. Uh-oh. The lemur strikes again. Look, hurry up, will you? It was the whispering voice of a young woman. Her bulky black arm was swaying rhythmically. Disturbed by the difference between the voice and its owner's appearance, he moved hypnotized in its direction. The hand and arm clearly belonged to a tanuki. It was a big tanuki. You know where we are? He was led by the tanuki into a room at the end of the walkway. Or rather, packed into it. Is this the girl's changing room? He saw a uniform, like the one you had been wearing, packed away inside an open locker. Hey, I can even see some women's underwear. The room smelled like perfume. The air was saturated with a scent so strong it almost made him choke. The smell was about to overwhelm him. He struggled to get his mind under control and maintain his focus. Hey, do you know where we are? Tanuki asked the same question again. Come to think of it, why was she a tanuki anyway? He had no clue. This is the changing room. She said this before he could answer. Changing rooms are a place to keep secrets away from prying eyes. She said this quietly. Secrets? Wham! Suddenly his vision faded. What is wrong with this lemur? Everything went completely dark. Huh? Will you look after this for me? Huh? What? What? Look after? He didn't understand. Here, I'll help you put it on right. Wear it? He had no idea what she was talking about. Ah, I see. So we're gonna gut punch this one guy, and then we're gonna grab some random kid and stick him in the lemur costume, and then he can take the heat. Clever. Whoa! He didn't understand why, but he couldn't move. He was powerless to resist her and let her do what she wanted. In a moment, something completely covered his body. This should do it. Alright then, I'll leave the rest to you. And the light sound of her footsteps faded into the distance. The last thing he heard was the click of a door shutting. He heard the sound, but he did not see her leave. What did she do to me? His face felt heavy. His body felt heavy. He had tunnel vision. And for some reason, his body was bristling with hair. Could it be that this is a mascot outfit? When he shook his head, it made a sound like bristles brushing something. So, this girl in the lemur costume strikes me as deeply suspicious. So first she's messing with the electrical panel, then she like sucker punches somebody who tries to get in her way, and now she's like, getting out of the costume to conceal her identity. I feel like it's a little bit early to call terrorist, but I'm calling terrorist. Like, if we were playing Secret Hitler, I would know exactly who I thought Hitler would be. I haven't actually played Secret Hitler yet, but I assume it's similar to Werewolf. This is what I'm led to believe. And there was a smell. There was some other scent from inside the costume. A sweet smell that made him dizzy. It pierced deep into his brain. Before he knew what was going on, he'd opened the door and was shuffling out onto the pathway. Ah! Without thinking, he let out a cry. He'd found it. It's a tanuki. But he had just been told that it was not a tanuki, but Myun or a fox-like monkey. But that information had already disappeared from his mind. I forgot its name. It doesn't matter though, he's the one that hit me and ran away. He didn't want revenge. But he did want to ask it why it had done what it did. Without making a sound, he slowly approached the tanuki, mascot, Myun. As soon as he got behind it, he quickly grabbed the costume by the head. There. Who are you? I should be asking you that. Why would you do something like that? Huh? What'd I do? Don't play dumb with me. I have no idea what you're talking about. You punched me! No, I didn't. I have no idea what you mean. Liar. What, did you forget? I'm not lying. This girl gave me this outfit out of nowhere, and... What, you just met her? Why did you change? I just put it on. I just put it on. What are you talking about? But why do this? This... At that point, the Tanuki collapsed. He collapsed in full Mew regalia. What? Hey! Takeshi shook his shoulders, but there was no response. There's like chloroform inside the costume? Like, what the hell's going on? I'm super confused. Somebody come quick. Something's not right here, he yelled. Visitors watched from a distance. What's the matter? A female employee had heard the fuss and came running. Huh? You're that girl from before. This guy just collapsed all of a sudden. Let me see. The employee took the pulse of the fallen youth. Takeshi wondered if she had any medical knowledge. He's alright, but we can't leave him here like this. I'll help. Great, thanks. I mean, you'd think that transporting him is probably easier if you take off the lemur costume first, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be step 1 here. I need to get some water real quick. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Why this happened? He had no idea. No idea where he was, where he had gone. Shaking, shaken, feeling ill. He could feel hair from the costume rubbing along both of his sides as 2 people carried him. Rubbing. He wished they'd get the mascot suit off him quickly. The fur felt nasty. It was hot. So hot. So hot he couldn't stand it. The heat made him feel faint. His consciousness felt like it would drift away. Why had this happened? It was strange. So strange. It wasn't him or her. He heard a different voice from somewhere. He had been hauled to the infirmary. I wonder what it could be. Is he anemic? Maybe it was the mascot suit. Maybe he couldn't get used to wearing it. It's possible. It could be heat exhaustion. Does it look like he'll be okay? I mean, I got my chloroform theory from the line where they suggest that there's something in the costume that, like, made his head feel fuzzy. It could just be heat exhaustion, but right now the chick who had the lemur costume originally feels real suspicious. In fact, she feels so suspicious that I feel like she can't actually be suspicious. Like, I feel like she probably had a perfectly legitimate reason for doing whatever it was she was doing, if only because what she was doing was so outrageous. That's the theory I'm running with right now. Or not outrageous, but like suspicious. Does it look like he'll be okay? It doesn't appear to be anything serious. A little rest and he should be fine. I see. Thanks for your help. I'll take it from here. Oh, alright then. He opened the sliding door and left the room. Saving people can sure be stressful. What was it I came here to do? A cool breeze was blowing along the walkway. Breeze. But where was it coming from? He wondered where he had come from. He saw something faintly. A ceiling. Sheets. A bed. He'd been put to sleep on a bed. On a bed in the infirmary. He saw something again. Below the sick room. Bed. Who was on the bed below? Who is this? Hi, Coco. This isn't me. Of course not. He decided to go further down the hall. 3rd floor underground. They had called it Droit Stock. The guys, they've got to be lined up waiting for a crowded ride somewhere. I feel like all these perspective changes and, like, sudden jumps and not giving us the blonde guy's name is, like, trying to throw me off something. I have no idea what it could be yet, but I feel like I'm being deliberately misled in some capacity. Hey, sorry, I'm getting in. He dashed into the elevator. The doors reopened silently and closed again. Huh? One other person got it on. A girl. A girl? More like a young woman, I guess. One girl had gotten on. She was about at high school age. The elevator floated upward an instant before descending. There was the faint sound of movement and vibration. And then his eyes met with the girl's. He wondered why. The girl stared at him suspiciously. What? Just who are you? Why are you here? Why are you following me? What? I'm not following anyone. Alright, we're gonna get defensive. Just exactly who are you? Just exactly who are you? Did I do something wrong? Yes, you did. Just now. Just now? He was getting more and more confused. I mean, I don't want you to get in the way, that's all. Get in the way of what? Intuition is striking me that, like, this is the chick in the lemur costume. Like, she showed up in the opening theme, or in the opening video, so I feel like odds are pretty good, right? Like, we have alibis from most of the other characters, and she's obviously relevant. Boom! Jolting suddenly, the elevator stopped. He looked at the ceiling. The lights flickered unsteadily. What was that? It couldn't be. Couldn't be. Couldn't be what? Couldn't be. He wondered if something had gone terribly wrong. It was strange. Very strange. Who's this? Oh, it's her. We finally met. I've been looking for you this whole time. But his voice didn't reach her. Argle Margle, Argle Margle, Argle Margle. He couldn't hear her voice either, no matter how much he tried. No sounds reached him now. Damn, what's going on? But he saw a figure faintly. He was able to make sure. He could see himself and the girl talking over there. He saw it on the other side. So, parallel dimensions? What's going on here? Super confused. And the sci-fi mumbo-jumbo in the opening makes me think that there's, like, something supernatural going on here. I can see myself over there? Is it a mirror? He watched. And he watched. That's strange. No, it's odd. What is that? That's weird and creepy. If I'm watching them, then who is the me watching me? Something felt out of place. Now he knew the truth and his lips trembled. Who is that? Who could the me over there be? He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. It was like a dream. It was like he was watching the continuation of a dream. But a dream couldn't have felt so powerfully raw. All of the screaming, and the sound of running feet. Shrill wail of sirens. That wasn't a dream or an illusion. Couldn't be. Do you know something about this? I don't know anything. Do you know something? How could I know anything? The lights gradually dimmed and finally went out. Why? He had no idea. He didn't know. There was no way he could know. But there on the bed. There. On the bed. There. The bed below. The bed on top. The bed below. Who are you? Who? Stop. Please stop. Don't come out. Please don't come out. Stay inside. Don't crawl out of there. Stop. Please. Stop. Stop. No. There was nothing to fear. It was all right. Because there was no longer anyone. Because there was no one there. What? I'm so confused. Hey, who's there? Is someone there? I'm here. I'm still in here. Somebody, get me out of here. Answer me, please. Isn't anyone there? Nobody answered. The surroundings were filled with silence. What? Is anybody there? So I'm alone. He burst with laughter. The ultimate feeling of liberation. There was no one to restrain him now. And he ran. But no one stopped him. Getting there was easy. All that was left was to aim for the center. Just take a step. It was simple. He threw his body into the water. He sank. Deeper, deeper, and deeper. Sound died away. The embrace of unbelievably pure silence. Not even a beam of light pierced the darkness. All he could hear was repetitive, heavy breathing. He lost himself. Is that supposed to be he lost himself mid-short-circuiting? Or he, like, lost himself with his mind short-circuiting? Anyway, something along those lines. His vision narrowed and was overrun with blue. Deep blue. Blue. Something was strange. He wondered if it was really blue. Even though he was perfectly still, it seemed as if his heart was racing. Sweat poured off of him. His breathing was ragged and labored. Gradually, his consciousness dissolved into the darkness. Black. Endless black. There was no mistaking it this time. Everything was stained black. There were no boundaries to this color. Wait, is it black or blue? Make up your mind, dude. His ears hurt. The ringing in them wouldn't stop. I also, like, long since lost track of whether I'm supposed to be following Takeshi or the blonde kid. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the blonde kid who just tried to drown himself, and Takeshi is still trapped in the elevator, but I'm very confused as to what's going on. Like, very confused. Like, I'm lost. So I'm just gonna keep reading, and hopefully it will all make sense someday. He felt pressure expanding in his lungs. He felt queasy, sick to his stomach. The air pressure is dropping. I forgot. I need to pop my ears. You do more than that. With a pop, the air building inside his ears was released. Damn. Which way is the exit? Pitch black. Nothing moved. He didn't move either. There wasn't any sign of a breathe. He didn't hear anything. Just echoes from something, invisible. Time froze to a stop. If he stopped here, he felt like he would forget that he was even alive. It was his intuition. Only a little more. No. It was no good. He had to get out. But he didn't even know which direction to go. He had to get himself out of this darkness. But what could he do? He didn't know. He didn't know. Just then, he felt a faint, warm light. Light? A blade of light slicing through the flat world of darkness. And he knew. The direction was over there. And that there might be a way out. If you could get over there. What? What are these choices? I'm so confused. Like, I assume the choices in a scenario like this would be like either go to the light or don't go to the light. Like, those seem like the intuitive choices. Alright, let's do some introspection. Screw the friends. I didn't know where I was, but I quietly opened my eyes. Wait, why'd the text box turn blue? It was definitely not blue a minute ago. Now it's blue. The next thing I knew, I was on a bed. The ceiling was so white it was slightly blinding. It smelled of disinfectant. I wondered where I was. Are you awake now? A shadow passed above me on the bed. I wondered who it could be. No, wait a minute. Somewhere. I felt like I'd met this person somewhere before. Oh, maybe that choice back then wasn't like me making a decision. It was picking which of the points of view to follow. Where if I choose that I have to find my friends, I get Takeshi's point of view. And then if I choose who am I get Blonde Kid's point of view. I felt like I'd met this person somewhere before. How are you doing? You look alright anyway. Who? Who was it? I knew her. I assume it's you. I was sure that I knew her. Still, I couldn't put my finger on any one thing about her that I knew. The more I thought about it, the more the area around my temples pounded with pain. Ah, I was right. Oh, I guess it's no good then? Does your head hurt? I pressed my temples with the fingers of both hands, nodding slightly. I see. Just wait a second, alright? I'll try to find some painkillers. She laughed sweetly and stepped away from me. I raised myself up and looked around. The room was completely white, with a number of beds tidily lined up in a row. Looking behind me, there was a curved glass window on the wall. I got off the bed and put on my shoes, which were neatly arranged below me. I approached the window. Outside, as far as the eye could see, was one endless sheet of blue. Transparent waves of light swayed gently in the deep, dense navy mist. I put both of my hands on the wall and pushed my face up against the glass. Just then, a flash of silver light darted across my vision. Yeah, somebody definitely needed to proofread this better. For an instant, I was afraid. Then I noticed it was just a fish. This is the middle of the ocean. What's the matter? At some point, the girl had come to stand beside me. Of course it is? This is the Lemur Infirmatory. Or infirmary. Infirmary? Infirmatory? Lemur. The instant I heard that word, a flash of searing light reappeared in the back of my mind. That's right! That's right! I'd come to Lemur. This theme park Lemur floating in the ocean. And I'd been walking around Lemur with her. There were ancient ruins, and the whale floating in the darkness, the jellyfish gondola, and merry-go-round. But why'd I come to this place? To Lemur? Had I come for fun? Of course I had. This was a theme park after all. Was that right? Was that really the reason? Violent head pain struck me again. I shook my head again and again, my face distorted from the pain. Hey, are you alright? Shouldn't you rest a little more? She helped support me as I returned to the bed. I brought you some headache medicine. She held 2 white pills in her left hand. In her right was a cup filled with water. White pills, 2 of them. The fact that it's giving me this option makes me, like, not trust the headache pills at all. Like, is she trying to poison me or something? We're gonna say no to the headache pills. This is gonna end terribly. We're gonna die. But better than accepting the poison. We're gonna die by headache, as opposed to dying by poison. This is the choice that I've made, and I stand by it. No thanks. I replied instantly. I looked away from her hand. What's the matter? Your head hurts, right? Yeah. And if you don't take these, the pain won't go away. Pain continued to throb through my skull. The pills in her hand would help to ease that pain. I understood all of that. Yet for some reason I wanted to look away from the medicine. Oh, I get it. I see, you don't like the taste, right? That's not it. I'm concerned you poisoned them. That's kinda sad. But that's okay. This medicine isn't bitter at all. It's more than not bitter. It's got a mellow, sweet, full flavor that floods throughout the mouth without an aftertaste. Ouch! My headache had gotten worse. I told you so. If you really can't drink it, then I can give you anally via a suppository. Those are my 2 options. I'm suddenly much less attracted to either of them. Or I guess I'm suddenly much more attracted to putting the pills in my mouth. For an instant, I feared my chastity might be violated and grabbed the belt of my pants. Alright, I'll drink it. Feeling half threatened, I drank the medicine even though I didn't want to. It was super bitter. It's probably just mild barotraumas or decompression sickness. It happens a lot to visitors. They just feel ill all of a sudden and get carted in here. As she said this, she slyly took the cup from my hand. I sank my head back into the fluffy pillow. It's a bit of a stretch coming down here anyway. People with no experience just jumping to 6 atmospheres for a long period of time. Sheesh. The air pressure in the Earth's atmosphere is made for people to live comfortably. Of course people are going to have bad reactions to breathing air this thick. Air and first love. Both should be light. No doubt about that. Coffee on your first time. Well, those of course are better thick. Whatever you say, boss. Huh? She touched my face with the palm of her hand. The backs of her slender fingers stroked my cheek. The smooth texture of her skin slipped down from my neck to above my chest, stopping there. It's alright. You don't seem to have a fever. She smiled at me. Somehow I felt all embarrassed. I pulled the bed cover up to my eyes and hid my face. Just rest like that for a while, okay? We'll go see what's going on outside. Outside? Yes, how should I put this? While you were asleep, it seems there was a bit of trouble. Well, I'll explain it later. Anyway, for now just rest and don't worry about anything, okay? Seeing me nod, she walked away from the bed. Hey, wait a second. What? Just let me ask you one thing. What might that be? Why am I here? I just told Kidat that this is the Lemur Infirmatory, right? I passed out all of a sudden at the kiosk on White Stock. Then some guy and I hauled you here. You don't remember what happened? Kiosk. At the kiosk. In front of a big window. A sweet smell. Yeah, they're definitely implying that there was something in the costume. Something covering my body. The lemur mascot. It was you. You're the one that hit me. That's right, I remember. And I was struck dizzy. Like something being stolen away. I lost consciousness, and... So, do you remember? Yes. Do you have any other questions? I shook my head and answered. Well, be a good boy, wait here, alright? I'll be right back. She patted my head gently and began walking for the door. While I turned my head to stare at her back. My name's Yu. My last name is Tanaka. My real name is much longer, though. But it's such a pain. Just call me Yu. I remembered her words. You turned to the door and looked back at me. You turned at the door and looked back at me, lifting her hand to wave it and left the infirmary. All alone inside the room, it was quiet like time had stopped. I didn't know if my medicine had started to work or not, but my headache was completely gone. As I stared at the ceiling, I thought about the events leading to my being in that bed. Before I passed out, I'd been walking around Limu with you. We'd gone to a shop and were talking. Then we rode an egg-shaped elevator up 2 floors. Before I had met you, I'd been in a small park. I was on a bench in that park. I was Waiting for someone? Who? Who was I waiting for? I didn't know. My memory was a fog, and thinking about events after that, my mind just seemed to cloud over. I shook my head several times trying to clear it and concentrate. Why was I here? Why'd I come to Limu? Did I come alone? Or was I with someone else? What was I doing before I came to Limu? How had I arrived at this amusement park? It's no use. I can't remember. The thread of my memory was cut off right there. The time on the park bench enjoying ice cream, I couldn't get beyond that. It was like getting lost in a forest and going to turn back, only to discover that everything had gone dark. I felt very strange. It felt like I was in the middle of a dream. I felt like I had lost something very important. But I didn't know what that something was. And not being able to move forward made me feel that it was specifically because I had lost something important. I felt an unpleasant sense of something lacking, and the sense of something not quite right irritated me. I took my right hand out from under the blanket and stared spacely at the palm of my hand. The countless wrinkles etched there, intertwining, reaching out like the branches of a tree in complicated patterns. The pinkish skin, and buried deeper the slightly blue veins. And 5 fingers. Had my hand always had this strange shape? Bizarre thoughts hit me from nowhere. No, my right palm was no different than it ever had been. Yet, for some reason I felt that I had to doubt even that most natural of facts. Maybe, just possibly, until a few hours ago I might have had 6 fingers. Or 7, or maybe even 8. I felt like something was wrong. Yes. There's definitely something wrong here. Could I have been feeling this way because I lost something special? I opened and closed my hand, just repeating that meaningless, simple exercise. I wandered in the forest, searching for that one lost finger. The door to the infirmary opened and you returned. You dashed into the room and ran toward me as if she was going to bowl me over. What are you doing? There's no time to be sleeping, she shouted at me suddenly. Weren't you the one who just told us to get some rest? Completely clueless, I simply laid there, stunned. Get up quickly! You peeled away the blanket and dragged me off of the bed. What's the matter? I don't know, but anyway, we gotta escape out of here. You had a panicked expression. The relaxed look that had been on her face just a while ago had vanished completely. Escape to where? There's only one place. The floating island out on the ocean. Why? Because I say, don't ask questions. We're escaping because we have to escape. There's something urgent and powerful in Yu's words. You dragged me along. From her powerful grip, I felt a sharp sense of crisis. I hurriedly slipped on my sneakers and fled out of the room with her. The instant we emerged into the sprawling corridor, my feet stopped. I sucked in my breath, my body froze, and I just stared at the light spreading before me. There was something missing. People, sound, warmth. No way, this can't be. The words I muttered were devoured by the eerie silence. Looking back and forth in the corridor, even in the furthest direction there was no sign of people. Just the man-made walls on both sides. Unnatural light, whiter than white, shone from the ceiling and gave off a cold light. Why? I guess I say she, just told us to get some rest, but we don't actually know how long ago that was, right? It might have been, I don't know, 8 hours, 10 hours. Might have been 5 minutes. It was probably 5 minutes. But, again, this game is, clearly leaving itself a bunch of openings to mess with my interpretation of, time and space and who is who. Why isn't anyone here? You get it now? That's why we have to escape. Where could everyone be? Do kiting think they're playing hide and seek? Anyway, there's no time to think about it now. What's kiting, also? You need to get out of here ASAP, or... Saying that, you again tugged my arm. Hunched over and on the verge of tripping, I let you lead me through the wide corridors as we ran. Our footsteps were the only sound echoing in the quiet complex. The more we ran, the more out of breath I became. My heart was pounding. Really, everything just felt like a dream. A nightmare in which some unknown monster was chasing us everywhere. With no clue as to the identity of the monster, nor why we needed to escape. Hair-raising fear rose within me, and I was powerless to do anything. I simply cowered. In a world devoid of people, among faded colors, just Yu's palms grasped my arm. Only the certainty of her touch, that one point of contact, allowed me to retain any connection with reality. Finally, we arrived in front of the elevator. You rushed to the front of the door and pushed the up button. The button was unlit. Oh, no way. You've got to be kidding. Why is the thing stopped? You struck the button repeatedly. But nothing happened. The light stayed off. There was no sign that the floor display above the elevator doors was functioning either. Hey, aren't there any emergency stairs or anything? You looked back and shifted her eyes around as if she were thinking. Follow me. Saying only that, she dashed off. Straight down that long, stretching corridor. You turned her head to the left and right looking for something. It looked like she soon found what she was looking for, and she headed toward it single-mindedly. A ladder. Next to it was written in straight red letters, emergency exit, with an arrow pointing upward. At the other end of the ladder was the ceiling and a sturdy-looking door with a round-shaped handle attached to it. Are there emergency stairs on the other side? Without answering, you started climbing the ladder. She turned the handle and opened the door. Now hurry! This is an emergency escape corridor. There are emergency stairs that run along it. You told me this quickly while we ran. The corridor stretched in a gentle arc so that the far end was not visible. The scenery was repetitive and I began to have delusions that I was running in place. Where in the world am I right now? How far do I have to run? I just had to trust in you and chase after her back. Suddenly, you turned right. Inertia kept me going forward. Afraid I would miss the turn, I grabbed the corner with my hand, yanking myself around and chasing after you again. The route had become straight. Immediately to the left, a green-colored sign for emergency stairs was lit up. Below the light was a closed door. You jumped toward the door's handle. This is stiff. This is so... You was desperately trying to turn the handle. It won't open? It'll open. It'll open for sure. I'll make it open. Well, don't just stand there. Get over here and help me. Spurred by her words, I firmly grabbed onto the handle. I tried with all my might to turn it open in the direction of the arrow that said open. Damn, what's with this? Won't budge an inch. Wait, isn't this the angle of the corridor that the opening cutscene had the water pooling in from? I have a feeling something very bad is going to happen when we get the door open. It was stuck fast, almost as if it had been welded shut. It didn't look like it would move to the right or left. And like the water pressure would make sense for why the door is so difficult to open. Try to turn it when I say ready, go. Okay, here we go. Ready, go! With that, I threw my complete weight onto the handle. Damn. Open! Just then it happened. A sound arose as if from inside the earth, echoing heavily from somewhere. You and I relaxed our grips and looked at each other. What was that sound? The walls shook. A small vibration shook the handle we had grabbed. The lights on the ceiling flashed irregularly. The metal mesh floor was clanging against itself. An earthquake? It couldn't be. Where? In the middle of the ocean, after all. The vibrations gradually increased in intensity. It's not how you do apostrophes, by the way. The squeaking sound of steel against steel shocked our ears. You and I held our breath, waiting still. We tried to focus, sharpening our senses, our eyes wandering the void. A low growling sound, like the groan of a monster. A monster approaching. A voice filled hate and rage turned to a howling roar. Filled with hate and rage turned to a howling roar, sending shivers up my spine. Where's that coming from? Huh? Where? Where is it coming from? What? Yu's voice approached a scream. Her face lost all color, and her lips went dry. The eyes behind her silky, swaying bangs looked as if they were going to cry. Silky, swaying bangs? Wind. It's wind! Muttering this, I looked in the direction of the wind, down the extremely long corridor. Something appeared pushing and vying for space. No way. You're kidding. It couldn't be. Water? A monster came crashing toward us at a terrifying speed, mixed in a roiled spray of water. There was no doubt. It was a rushing behemoth of water. A massive froth of waves. Ah! It was not the time to be shouting. You and I started sprinting desperately. We turned left at the corner and ran. And ran and ran. The voice of the monster was right on our heels. We couldn't look back. If we looked back, we felt like we would be swallowed up. Something beyond fear or terror had made our minds go completely blank. We couldn't even think. We'd only run desperately for our lives. My shoulder bumped against the wall of the narrow corridor. It looked like my foot would get caught up in the bent metal flooring. Avoiding the pipes that hung down, we leaped over the raised entrance of the watertight door and ran. We just ran on and on. This has gotta be a dream. For an instant, that thought caught across my mind. In a world without people, and faded colors, a drooling monster was reaching its bluish-white arms out around my neck. We were spit out with the mass of water into a sprawling room. We were turned head over heel in the violent water. Several times, maybe several dozen times, over and over again, until finally my body stopped moving. Ouch! Ouch! I peeled my body from the soaked floor. Water was still pouring in from the far side of the open emergency entrance. Water was flowing down like a waterfall and spreading smoothly toward this far corridor as if it were crawling across the floor. That's right, what about you? Just as I thought that and looked back, Yu was standing up. You okay? I shook the soaked Yu's shoulders and looked into her eyes. They were empty. Her purplish blue lips were quivering. Yu was completely dazed. You, hang on! The level of water had continued to rise during this short time. What should I do? What should I... Just then it happened. The watertight doors at the four sides of the room began to close at once. The doors are closing, ever so slowly, letting off a dull sound. You! I tried shouting and even shaking her harder, but there was no response. Rather, Yu's body went limp and she collapsed to the floor. Hey, quit goofing around, come on! I took Yu's arm and put it over my shoulder, lifting her up. I started walking toward the nearest watertight door. Yu was heavy like a stone. I couldn't move forward as fast as I wanted. Her water pooled around both my legs and I couldn't move forward as fast as I wanted. Gradually, a steel partition slid down from above. Another one came up from below, pushing away water as it moved. The stopped water swirled around. As the width between the door narrowed, the water level increased. Come on, make it in time! Please just make it in time! Sadly, the door didn't stop moving. There was only a small opening left for us to escape. Whoa! There's no way I'm gonna die here! Giving a shout, I ran, pushing the water out of the way. Yu's slumping body weighed heavily on my shoulder, but I couldn't let go of her arm. I pulled together all my power. Almost there. Almost right there! Thwump. With one hand, I grabbed hold of the edge of the... Just barely. Just a few seconds after I squeezed our bodies through the narrow gap, the watertight door closed completely. And to find out what happens to you and Blonde Kid, I guess all y'all are going to have to tune into my next video, because this is where I'm closing this one. So, I guess find out on next week's episode of Ever17 Ball Z. And by next week, I mean tomorrow at noon. So, look forward to that, and I will catch you all later. Peace.